All right. It's the Dirty South podcast. We are back. Myself, Brant, Jason. I know everybody's been waiting for this one. We did 1A and girls last week for Brant's projections. Now we've got his 2A and 3A projections. So again, please remember these are Brant's. We're just here to cheer him on.
Let me, in case you missed the first one, just a quick explanation. I won't go into the full one. Go back and watch the other one. But it's based on the information that I have now and based on where they would finish if they are in the spot I have them in now, which will change by the start of the year. I'm at 41 coaches now that have sent me information with projected lineups, projected spots. A lot of guys move, as you guys know. I don't always know weight classes. I don't predict weight classes. I don't try to guess what coaches have going on. So as that changes, by the time my preseason top 25 comes out, it may look a little different, but this is actually a snapshot like 4 weeks ago because of my computer issues and travel and stuff. This was actually computed back last week of July. So this is a snapshot of the top five based on my knowledge and my resources going into the season for each class team wise.
I know people have been excited because I've gotten messages. I saw people this weekend at the Hall of Fame in
Ward at
the ceremony.
wardwrestling.com probably
And
filled up.
real quick, just for Danny Walker and Rick Tribbett, it's all about the U, baby.
Go Irish.
I'll fire them up. Okay.
What?
And then,
No, no.
yes. By the way, shout out to Mrs. Hickson this weekend.
Yes.
She was able to get up. She had her son, her children there, and speak about her husband Chris, who obviously we know is a hero. And what an emotional weekend for them, and what an awesome moment for her to get up there and be able to hold it all together and speak. A great weekend for everybody, but that one was special.
Very cool. It's always interesting. We hit kind of different milestones as we go along in our in our path each year. And you hit Fargo, and it's almost the end of freestyle season. You hit when it's the honors weekend, and you're like, oh man, it's August. We're kind of gearing up. Next thing you know, you start these Super 32 early entry
Yep.
tournaments,
Two
and
and a half
people are
weeks here in
back
Florida.
on the mats. And yeah, this coming weekend it's in Georgia, and like it is every single year. And it's just one of those things that we kind of hit these different things as we go along. And it's the perfect time to talk about the top five teams. And I guess Brant, you brought it up, and it was a little bit ago, but in reality, unless you've gotten a lot more news than I know about, they shouldn't change a lot from what we're looking at.
Actually, I had notes. There's a few that have changed. Like, there's been a few additions, that have come up, but I don't think anything's changed. I'd say my 3A has gotten I'm more sure of because of what I know of them, but I don't know. I haven't heard from. I've heard from two of my top three teams already on 3A side.
All
Um,
right.
and I'll be talking to one of them today, so I'll learn more about them. Um, but yeah, I don't know that anything has completely changed. 1A has changed even since last week in my mind, but um, yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
the ones today are still pretty set.
Well,
Okay.
with that being said, survey says.
Which one we want to do first?
We're gonna
That was great,
Dan
but
is
I
cracking
didn't know
me
which one to
up.
pull out first.
Let's jump into 2A first. We were counting up anyway. We did girls, and then we did 1A.
That's true.
And for a quick recap of girls and 1A, just if you didn't watch last week, so you should go back and watch. I just want to point out South Dade right now is coming in at number one in South Dade for the girls. And Mater Academy, Mater Lakes are number one in 1A. But 2A might have been the most enjoyable classification to watch a year ago. Is that what's going to happen again this year? Will it be the most enjoyable to watch?
Oh, well, 3 is going to be
Uh,
interesting.
3A is going to be
I
interesting.
what went into this is normally during the season I do have IBT team rankings and I have dual team rankings. I tried to find a middle ground here. So maybe there's a team where when I have my IBT rankings will be higher, or even in the duels they'll be higher. So I just try to go for the fullest team right now, um, based on what I have. But I think they're different in 2A. They were different in 2A last year. Um, I think you'll see uh excitement all the way in 2A, just as it always is. But I think 3A is going to be interesting.
So, quick question. When you're given points, you give it down to the top eight, top 10, top whatever,
12
top
people
12,
score
12 people
um
score.
in the state tournament.
All right. So,
But these aren't entirely based off of my those numbers straight up as my IBT rankings. I don't my IBT, I plug them into the formula and it spits out. I use them for this and then kind of looked beyond it just to pick the best team, since that's what we're doing here. We're not necessarily doing state IBT rankings. We're doing best team going into the year. But when I do my state IBT team rankings, it is a formula. It spits out the top 12 get because 12 wrestlers get points and it builds it from there.
Well, I mean, let's do this. If you were a a ranking person and you were
Which I
ranked
am.
the 2A Florida team rankings, what would be your five choices? Survey says. Boom.
he's been waiting to say survey says. Like, he's not Richard
Yeah.
Dawson, man. He's just not Richard Dawson.
Oh,
Number 5, Winter Springs.
Number 5, Winter Springs. Always a good team. Always
Always a good team.
talented.
This is a team that 2 seasons ago had 3 state champs. They all graduated. I think last year you kind of saw a transition team for them.
Hmm.
New Smyrna Beach topped them in the district. You've got some guys coming back that have had success, and then I think you have some young guys come up, which is what Winter Springs does. They have a good feeder program of youth that they train all along, and you start to see that coming back this year. When I made the list, they had 7 top 10 wrestlers. They're going to have some depth at some other spots with guys that can wrestle well as far as in a dual situation, and that's how they got the nod at 5.
7 in the top 10, 9 in the top 25. And yeah, like you said, they always make a run. And
I
man,
know you like to mention the ones we didn't pick. You want to talk about some honorable mentions you think should be here, Dan? Since
some honorable mentions. There's some teams like Mater Academy and Gulf Breeze that I think are going to make some noise. They have a few kids on there. I
and I
mean,
have heard of some new kids at golf, at least one new kid at Golf Breeze that maybe would have put them up higher if I was able to confirm that.
they both have the ability to have some state champions, and that could rock the boat and affect some of the top team races. So yeah, I like those two as right now on the outside looking in, but having some kids that could rock the boat.
One of the things for me that you take it outside of the you take it outside of the top two teams or whatever the case is. I mean, we talked about Mater Lakes like last week. You had the Messinas and you had Dell, you had Nazario, you had those kids, and you kind of always felt like you know what you're going to get from them,
Yeah,
right? Let's take Winter Springs as a good example here. Like, I know Jacob Rodriguez up top. I mean, he's proven himself. On the big stage, both at the knockout and elsewhere and everything else. And they've got some really solid kids in the middle of the lineup. They have an opportunity if their lightweights come through to be a really good from top to bottom
yeah.
team. The challenge is that you don't know what you're gonna get with some of parts of that lineup. You know what I mean? And that's how most of these teams are. Most of these
Yeah.
teams are you're not sure what you're gonna get with most of these teams.
And along those lines, and kind of building off the honorable mentions, I wanted to mention 2 to watch also. Archbishop McCarthy,
Hmm.
a lot of guys coming in, a good system there already, some kids coming up. And I know this because I'm talking to him tomorrow or coming up. Middleburg brings back nearly everyone from their district title team last year. Everybody's coming back older, and maybe they weren't, because my rankings is based off last year, that those guys take leaps, then Middleburg's now in the discussion for a top five
Talk
spot
about a
because of
pro,
how much they have coming back.
talk about a program that is so strong on both sides.
Yep.
Middleburg boys and girls are,
They both won their first districts last year under since Cole Robertson had took over there.
yeah.
Well,
First one ever for the girls.
and one of the things,
Um,
and this is just a plug for freestyle and everything else, but I mean, you spend the summer wrestling. Archbishop McCarthy this past year, Gulf Breeze this past year, Middleburg in previous years, they sent kids to Fargo. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they were competing. I didn't know some of the kids from Archbishop McCarthy, but man, I'll tell you what, when we were putting together the program, we're like,
yeah.
Archbishop McCarthy, this kid, go to Deloach, obviously up, up in that area, that sort of thing. All these kids who are wrestling in the freestyle are going to make an impact here coming this coming season.
Yeah, they've got some definitely good job by Archbishop McCarthy to start building that program.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's
Coming
awesome.
in at number 4, survey said we asked 100
Survey
people. We
says,
asked
right,
one.
Survey
Dan?
We had
says.
one. We asked one person, and they came back with Charlotte
Charlotte.
at
No,
number 4.
no surprise with Charlotte at number 4. Always seems to be perennially like
Yeah.
whether it's Coach Hoke, it's Coach Robinson. I mean, I don't care. You could throw it back to when I was coaching back, in 2000 or whatever. Charlotte has always been a program that will be in the mix. They just have a great group that will come and compete. And man, I'll tell you what, this year's group, they have some studs on that team.
Oh yeah, 8 in the top 10, 10 in the top 25.
You have Jake Austin coming back, state champ from a year ago. You have Jackson Newton coming back at 285, two-time finalist now, just a supremely athletic kid at heavyweight. He's my favorite going into the year to win there. But you also have guys like Michael Hernandez and Evan Cope and Wyatt Nevling, guys that maybe aren't household names yet, but another year in that room and another year getting better, they're going to be forces this year to watch out for in 2A.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. All right. So, Dan, you know this, but I mean, I think the question that everybody's going to ask is these top 3 teams in 2A, in what order are they going to come in at? And if I were to like cover it up, I know you've seen it. Who would you think would be number 3? If you and I were doing Family Feud, who would be number 3?
I mean, based on the knowledge that we know, based on Brant Parsons' projection.
Based on your knowledge.
Listen, these top 3 teams are going to really battle it out. I think I know you've got Tampa Jesuit there at number 3.
What?
He gives it away.
Come on.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's great, actually. It's fantastic.
Now, who would you put? Who would
Who would you
through?
put?
I mean, I think based on preseason and pre-rankings, I think based on what we see has been done with the other 2 stores, I mean, I think you've got it right now, but I think I don't know, at Tampa Jesuit and Somerset, they could go either way, 1 or 2. I mean, 2 or 3.
So I think the number 3 team is Somerset. And the only reason I say that is that when you get to the end, those the if you can get points not that Somerset doesn't have points there, and I know I'm going to probably get some grief from Coach Blasucci and on this and everything else, but Basil and Vasquez and Yakes, and their lightweights down there, they're super tough. Now Somerset's tough as well, and they've got some great kids, and they could also make runs, and they wrestled great last year to go ahead and win the 2A title. But I'm really impressed with the lineup that Jesuit has. and their ability to kind of put up some points. So that's the reason I thought might be.
Yeah,
I thought it might be Somerset coming in at
I
number
will
three.
say
as
the
far as
top
a full
three are
lineup,
so tight.
yeah, as far as a full lineup. But yeah, I mean, and the thing that with Somerset, the great thing for them is that Jesuit and Lake Gibson got to battle it out coming through the regions, right? The district and the
And
region.
Winter Springs will be there too. And
And
it,
so
Is
let,
Winter Springs in Region One?
oh, that's right. They're in Region One now. You're right. They moved up last year. I'm still
kind of had to
picturing them
battle through
wrestling
it, but
opposite Lake Gibson in the
In the
state duels.
district, yeah.
listen, would it
that-
would it surprise you if any one of these teams?
oh, these three, it's almost throw it in a hat and pick them. I'll tell you why it ended up this way. Um, believe it or not, I think Jesuits lineup's a little bit deeper than Somerset's, at least on what I know. But Somerset, I have 5 wrestlers in the top 10. I have,
Hmm.
or let's see, 9 wrestlers top 10, 7 wrestlers top 4. Tampa Jesuit, I think the key for them this year, you're going to have your number one. You have Vasquez, Basil, Yaxel. You mentioned Glover, Lido. The key for Tampa Jesuit, and I think they could do it with these guys, but it's going to be like Robert Vasilowski, Marvin Mendez, John Alvarado. That next tier of guys, if they make the leap, then Tampa Jesuit becomes the favorite because
I
then they
agree.
have more points coming out of that. Tampa Jesuits has like that points in the can already with some guys that are going to score big, but it's going to be for all 3 of these, it's going to be that middle set of points that are going to win both duels and IBT in this. It's going to be that second tier guys on each team,
And
and
kind
then
of
when you get into duels, then you can see how they match up, and that's going to be so much fun when that happens. But we'll wait down the road for that,
based on the weights that you have that
and it's based on what I have now, and that'll probably change a lot
now,
too.
it just looks like, I mean, yeah, you're gonna,
And
some
I've had no confirmation on weights from any of these 3 coaches at this point,
right. Yeah, I think
unlike 3A.
I do like
Just pointing
They're
that out.
keeping it close, right?
so
I mean, it's the first my first asking. So, but I did
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So Somerset's number 2. Ding, ding, ding. Better put that one up there.
Survey says
yeah, I mean, like you said, Tampa Jesuit seems to have a full lineup, and by the time they get there, they'll have them ready. And Blasucci seems to keep stuff close to the vest, and all of a sudden he's got
there may be a couple more coming in. He's told me that.
some guy who's
I don't know them at this point.
So the question, I guess, that begs is, was Lake Gibson? I mean, we talked about it being close. Were they significantly ahead?
No, nobody
Okay.
was significantly ahead out of these 3. We'll talk Somerset. We talked a little bit about them, but the key for them, Sains brothers. They didn't wrestle 2
Yeah.
years ago. They wrestled last year. Huge difference between state champ and second or third. Somerset, as much as we may have doubted them off and on throughout the year, came through
Yeah, they
big
did.
on Saturday
did.
night, and that just you got to realize. I mean that carries something to me, and I know it's different teams, different people, but that performance Saturday night when with the big lights shows that this team was ready. And if the guys come back that are coming back, I had people telling me, watch for Darian Shannon. He's going to be a state champ. And he could be. Mateo Martinez, Sage Suarez comes over from South Broward. He's a top 3 wrestler. Kano Austin, still not in 9th grade. So they get him another year at Somerset. So you just have some tough wrestlers. If they get a little bit of depth, then maybe we start looking for them
right. And
higher up even on
kid like
the
Dylan
standings.
Fernandez, that's been slowly getting better and better and better. And let's see, he could make some noise there for them.
Why?
And they did have a couple leave, and one was not a wrestler last year because injury, but he was a second or third place as an 8th grader. He's at Archbishop. So they and a couple other. So it's a team in transition, but I believe the spot holds true for what they have right now.
So I think one of the things that is super interesting to keep in mind. You know, we're a number of months away from the actual start of the season, but number two, you know, it's important not to draw any hard conclusions once the season begins in, early December. Teams come in and kids are still figuring out the right weight. Some might be a little banged up, some might be still at football, all these different things. I can't tell you, when I was doing rankings, the number of times I'm like, well, we beat them, in the December 5th tournament, and I'm thinking to
Yeah.
myself, you simply don't understand that that's not the squad that's going to be on the mat in January. So
And
so
not even on these teams, and you know this because you've done rankings. I mean, that first weekend is just intense because there's going to be people you don't even know either moved here or have gotten better without maybe showing it to where we've seen it, and that will mess things up and change things up too because you're going to have people
yeah.
in 2A and all the, but in this consideration we're talking about 2A, that all of a sudden they're going to knock some of these folks down, uh maybe in the rankings where you weren't expecting them, or they had a growth spurt, or they just hit the gym all summer. That comes in as a change too. And that first weekend I'm always like, wow, where'd this kid come from? That kind of rotates stuff pretty quickly too as the season. Those first 2-3 weeks you start seeing guys like, whoa, okay, that
Yeah,
they
so
need to.
just so everybody knows, that is the busiest time
Oh my
for
goodness, that
Brant.
first
Is
weekend.
It's the first few weeks and it's the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Like
Well, and then you throw the state duels in the middle. So, but yeah, that first weekend is rankings wise, from just that perspective, uh, is intense just for so many kids that are now getting a chance to show what they've been working on or how they've gotten better. And it's not always ones that you'd expect. You just have guys just get better and put their name in the discussion.
All right. So the
That's
question that we have,
officially
I would assume, with the top team
So,
is, how in
so
the world do you fit everybody into the lineup?
that is a
I
good
believe
question.
it's, Brant has Somerset and Tampa 2 and 3. You have Tampa and Somerset 2 and 3, but I think number one is.
I mean, I have Lake
Lake
Gibson. Is that who
Gibson.
you would have had one, Jason?
So I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you.
I did this like 2 or 3 different ways. This is just the one I decided on. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I actually think what you said earlier, in terms of Jesuit, in terms of finding that middle part for Jesuit, is the same challenge that both Somerset and Gibson are going to have. Gibson's got RJ down low. Will he be a 6 pounder again? Will he be up at 13? Will that make a difference? If he goes up to 13, do they slide in somebody else at 6 who's also going to score them a ton of points?
And look
They've
at
got now.
13 with Brock Glover, Cano Austin, and then RJ Phelan. Can you imagine those three going at it at 113? That would be fireworks.
Yeah, well, and so matchups are going to play a huge role,
yeah.
but again, it's going to be those individuals who, I look down the Lake Gibson lineup. I feel very confident what you get with Jaden Oliver. I feel very confident what you get with Jeremiah Chavez and those sorts of things. I see kids, like Aiden Groover and Isaac Lowe and a few other names on that list who, they can step in and score points for Gibson. And if they do, I mean, Jesuit and Somerset better be able to follow suit, or they're going to get left.
I mean, that's the thing here. There's just so many guys. I mean, I'm just looking at my list right now, and so many at similar weights. So I mean, it's a catch-22, right? You've got all this abundance, but now you have to figure out how to fit it in, and you're not going to be able to fit everybody in.
I think we're
But
going to.
that, but this was a three team race, tight as anything, and the reason Lake Gibson has the edge now on August 27th is because they have so many options and so much depth, and the room just keeps getting bigger with wrestlers that can um, make an impact on the season. And if they do, then that is the difference in my
You
prognostication.
think like last year, really 2A was decided championship day. I mean, we saw Jesuit,
Championship night for the men's
Championship
Jesuit,
team.
night.
Jesuit and Somerset had some final matchups that if they go one way, Jesuit wins. They went Somerset's way, Somerset wins it. Uh,
4-4-4, right? Didn't they go 4-4-4 in
They're
the
four for
finals?
five, right?
Four for five.
Or
so these
some
three
maybe
teams,
we're 4-4-4.
do you think it's going to come down again to something like that between these three teams?
I mean,
It wouldn't be a
yeah,
surprise.
I, that's kind of how I picture 2A coming out this year. I remember last year, Tampa Jesuit against Somerset, 34-28, 40-21 against Lake Gibson. I anticipate same kind of matchups if they find each other in the state duels again, too. I mean, it's going to be, and coaches hopefully enjoy this, but it's going to be all about planning and who's going to weigh a pound more that day so they can move them a different. I mean, that's how tight this is on both the dual and IBT side. They're both going to come down to one or two matches, and that's why 2A has been the most fun to watch for some time now, because at least on that top level watching of it is you have team races that matter every single person out there, because 2 3 points either way can sometimes
Be the
turn the
difference.
tide.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Daniel, before we kick off or before we get over to 3A, you're a critic. You're watching us online. Like if you were being critical, do you agree? Do you disagree? Top five?
It's tough.
Pretend you're writing an email to ward at
Yeah.
wardwrestling.com. What are you writing?
It's tough not to agree. I think you're right on the top three. I think the bottom three are closer than the top. I mean, the bottom three are more can go whatever, right? Like, but the top
Uh,
are so close that yeah, it wouldn't be if you would have told me Jesuit, Gibson, Somerset, Somerset, Gibson, like Jesuit, like no matter where, if you would have told me any way these three played out preseason, it wouldn't have surprised me either way. I think you've got the right guys there. Now we just got to see where they, I know, obviously Tampa Jesuits probably going, yes, thank you, Brant, for making us the
Yeah, I'll
yes,
become famous at Jesuits because my
I'm
name
gonna
will be
go into
on
my
in the locker
room and
room.
we're gonna prove Mr. Brant Parsons
I
wrong.
may not be liked in Jesuits
We're
locker
all
room, but
coming
they'll
for
have
a
my name will be
Snickers.
there.
We're all coming for a Snickers. But yeah, so Lake Gibson 1, Somerset 2, Jesuit 3, Charlotte 4, Winter Springs 5. Um, that's if you don't like it, Brant Parsons at brantparsons.com.
Sure, we'll do that one.
Get
Parsons.com.
go go get them. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited this season. Yeah, we've got 2 more weeks left until 32 early entry here in Florida, but we're going to see a lot of kids wrestling this weekend. I know there's a lot of kids going out of the state to wrestle, and a good number will be in Ola with you this weekend, Jason.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. I mean, it's always
And
fun. It's always fun when we get to this point. So
and I will say, based on in case people wonder about weights, if I don't get weights from coaches, Super 32 early entries are one that I use as a basis for what I think someone. I will use your weight at Super 32 early entry as the weight I think you're going to wrestle at, because I feel it's one
as we
that
always
most
do.
will
I
cut
mean
for. Yeah,
that's our best shot. I mean
yeah.
that's just the way that works.
So there'll be
Um,
changes in 2.5 weeks, because there'll be some guys that you know bulked up a lot that I didn't know about over the
yeah.
summer, and things will move around.
Our next show,
So
our next show is going to be the not top 10.
oh no, we're not doing that.
No,
No, we're not doing that. All
we
right.
don't do that.
So we're gonna move to 3A, but before we do, 3A in years past has been
Owned.
yeah, it's been less exciting. I
Yeah.
don't want to I don't want to say it's not exciting to watch, because 3A's got some of the best wrestling in the state. There's no doubt in my mind. But in terms of the team discussion, it's been less really much of a discussion because of the ownership that South Data's had. This year, though, I want to just go ahead and say, in my opinion, 1A is probably the easiest one. I don't know that any of them are easy. I think they're all going to be
Yeah.
competitive. But I think if we're going to look at it, 1A is there. I think girls is a complete unknown. It's going to be a lot of fun to kind of figure out what's going to happen with the girls. 2A might still be the most exciting, but I'll tell you what, as we kick off 3A,
Yes.
this is going to be this is going to be a really fun season to watch. And especially if you reside from Daniel's neighborhood
Mine,
down
mine
in
too. My actually more my neighborhood
oh, your
than
neighborhood
Daniel's.
too.
Daniel's would have been. He probably grew up when you grew up in what 3A 15. I grew up in the heart of 3A 16. So
Mm. Well, and
Well,
that is where we're
and
going.
your alma mater is, I know, I know they're on the outside looking in here, but that
it's
is
a top 10 team that's fourth in its district. just
right.
just to tell you.
Right, but the district they're in and the region they're in is
I
tough.
know that's why I'm just
They've got,
building off of what we're saying. But let's start at number 5, which we will not go to South Florida for, and that is
Well,
Haggerty.
it's the only time we will not go to South
It's the
Florida
only
is
time we
for
will not be in region 4 the rest of this discussion. And I'll talk Haggerty in a minute, but a couple teams that are right there on the edge also that this was a really tough one to pick. You have Harmony. Uh, you have Palmetto, which I just going to mention it again, Miami Palmetto, because that's where I went. But you have like Wellington continues to
Mhm.
build a good program and they do well. They send a lot of wrestlers to state. And you have like an up and coming program like Tuckhoy Creek. I believe that's how you say it, Tokoi Creek.
I think
It's
it's
a newer
Tokay, yeah.
school, and they're building up some numbers. Maybe not quite top 5, but some teams to watch on the outside. But between 5 and 6, between Haggerty and Harmony, this was a really tough decision. And I just went with there's just a little bit more depth, at least from what I have right now, in the Haggerty lineup with 9 wrestlers in the top 11 uh, with a chance to score points come March.
Well, and Scotty always puts together like a great squad. Like Haggerty is a really good team. 3A is so deep. Winning a individual state title. I mean, like it's hard. I mean, look at sitting at 150 pounds, and I don't know that it'll be 150 pounds this
Right.
year, but Nick Blake is a two-time knockout finalist. He lost to Drew Gorman, who was a four-time Georgia State champion, and he lost to what? Bo Hickman, who was a four-time Oklahoma State champion in the knockout finals, and he's not even your number one ranked guy.
Because
In
there's a
it,
state champ at 50, at least for now, in Norman Williams. So, yeah.
right. So
well, I mean,
this is how good this is.
how
Yeah.
good is 3A when you have a kid like Hunter Jesse, number 7?
Yeah.
The kid is so good, and he's number 7.
But the one thing that Haggerty has going for them, and they've always had going for them, is they have got a lineup. Now,
Yeah.
they're not, they may not blow you away. I mean, Nick Blake, obviously is at that level. You got Hunter Jesse, you've got some other really good studs, who are top 5 and everything else. But for top to bottom, typically Haggerty is a team that will bring everybody. Like, they'll be competitive at all the weights.
I agree with you here with Haggerty. I know obviously we don't know everything about Harmony yet. They might have some people that we don't know about yet, and that might obviously change this, I'm sure, for you, Brant. You mentioned Palmetto and Wellington. Um, you know, I in my lovely world of Lakeland, I like George Jenkins to sneak into your top 10, and I think they can make a little bit of noise. But
I mean,
He
I
just
have
he
I
just
have
sounded a little like Trump there.
yeah. I have texts already on this discussion, and we hadn't even talked about it on the show yet. Yeah, George Jenkins is deep with some really quality wrestlers that if they make that next step, then they are in the top 10 conversation. But based on where they are right now, they're on the outside looking in by my projections. But there's guys at all the weights. It's gonna be another strong duels team. I think we're gonna see them in Kissimmee again this year.
well, and you have
Um,
a team out there like Flagler Palm Coast that's just always got rankings at every weight, and they're going to make some noise. Yeah. So
and I think they're about to make a head coach hiring. I don't know who yet, but I was told it's getting closer.
Yeah,
So
because
they'll
Coach
have
Bosterdette moved up the admin chain, I believe,
yes,
right? So, which is tough. I mean, really, honestly, Flagler Palm Coast has been One of the reasons you see these teams where they are is because of the consistency of quality coaching,
Yes.
all the way through. And you can't say enough about, Coach DiAgostino, who was there before, Bosserdett, and and if Flagler makes the right hire, they have the kids to be able to compete. But it's one of those situations where, I'm just looking down the list of the teams, and the coaches play this huge role for these teams being
Well,
consistently where they are.
and you know what's consistent about all these teams? They have ADs that bought into wrestling, they support wrestling, and they have football programs that support wrestling. You know, I've experienced firsthand when you have a football program and a director that doesn't do that. Now I'm part of a program that doesn't even have a football team anymore, a
Wrestling team. Yeah.
which is sad to see. And uh,
It happens.
let's
Well,
not
I'm gonna segue off what
go down.
Jason
Let's
said.
not go down that.
You talk about the importance of coaching, and number 4, you have Jacob Grant, who's come in and taken over
Yes, he
a
has.
legend in Jim Husk, and someone who'd been coaching since the first state tournament back in the
Yes.
60s, even older. Like they're even older than me, the state series. And he's come in and has kept it going and grown it. And Columbus I'm not ready to put them into the top 3 discussion yet, but they have a bunch of guys ready to make some noise and possibly get into that discussion because they are deep. They just have some guys ready that need to kind of make that next step.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have.
and
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna say, the thing for me is, and I know you're gonna give me a list of the numbers, and I think that's cool. But I think one of the things I want to kind of highlight is if you were to make a Southeast like top 25, Columbus is fourth in 3A according to Brant, but they would be amongst those teams. I mean, they are that good, and that's how good 3A is, honestly. Sorry, Brant or Daniel, go.
Yeah, no, we're going to get into the top four here, the rest of them, but yeah, Columbus, if these kids that they have lock in it and wrestle like they can wrestle, they could really surprise and move up this list, I think, as the season goes.
Yeah,
Uh,
tough sledding going up, but yes,
uh,
100%.
middle kids, middle of the road kids in the rankings that, if they hit the gas pedal and they get hot at the right time, then yeah, they definitely that makes noise. And
And just a note, and just a couple people: Rocco Ruiz, Tomas Campion, Victor Zanolini, Tedrick Lee, all top 4 guys. Want to make sure I get some of their names out. But these 4 teams we're going to talk about are all in the same region. And
yeah,
then you throw in Miami Palmetto, you throw in Douglas, you throw in um, South Plantation has had a couple good wrestlers, and they have some high rank guys. They're
Doral
all
is in there.
competing for
Doral's
4
still in there.
spots.
Is Doral
Yes.
still in there?
4 spots
Yeah.
in the region tournament. And these teams are deep. These 4 teams are deep. They might be the 4 in some weight classes. And that's how tough 3A4 is going to be for anybody else in the discussion. That's what is so crazy about it. But what that also means is we have these teams listed here, but some of these teams are going to have wrestlers that are going to stay home and aren't going to make it.
Yes, they are.
They're not going to make it to
I mean,
Silver Spurs, and those could be top 10 wrestlers. So while they're top 10 now, they might be 5th in the region, and that means they don't make it across. So that also kind of has to factor in when you're looking at this. That
Doral is still in there too, right?
yeah, Doral. I wasn't not trying to name. I just naming
Yeah,
names off the top of my head.
well,
there's a lot.
But
There's
they always
the
bring
depth.
Doral always brings some kids that crash the party and they do a good job there. Well, anyway, if you were to pick the number 3 team and surveyed a Brant Parsons, who
Yeah,
would
survey says the team probably most unlucky in where they're located because they've been the second best team in 3A for the last decade, it seems, and it's Southwest Miami. They're
Yeah.
here now, and it's going to be really hard to catch the top 2. But the thing about Southwest Miami is they are the team for me when I look at the top 3 that has the most room for growth. and they've been everywhere this summer competing, and 2-3 lineups worth of guys competing. They have a huge club. They have a huge room. They've got guys at multiple guys at every weight that'll battle it out just to be in the lineup. You'll see they'll be better by the end of the year because these guys will fit into where they're supposed to be, and they'll score even more. It's just a question of how much better they get and if they can compete with the two in front of them.
Yeah, looking at this, I felt like um, based on what we know, obviously based on
Based on what I have,
what
yes.
you have, the information you've given us that you have.
Some of us know far less than others.
Yes, which is me. Um, but based on my eyes looking at this, it's the most complete team out of the three. They've got the most weight classes filled. They've got it could turn out to be one of Mick's best teams that he's put together if they
Yes.
can hit.
And they could be the best dual team, which and could do better than this because of the fact that they will have 14 guys
Yeah.
that are point worthy gainers in a duel where they won't be giving up any easy
Right. It wouldn't
easy
surprise
losses.
me if by the end of the year you come back to us with this list and Southwest has moved up.
All right.
Wow. Wow. I think for me, and this just echoes kind of what we've talked about previously in the show, maybe over in 2A, and that is for me, you've got Soto, you've got Morales, you've got I don't know if you know like Hewitt, I'm not sure if that's how you say his name.
Yeah,
Um
Nelson Hewitt.
yeah,
And
Novoa, is that how you say it? Yeah,
yes,
Didier.
Didier Novoa.
And from 6 to 50, 57 ish in the lineup, I think Southwest Miami is super tough. They've just got some really, really stud kids. The question is gonna be, from 65 to 285, and
Yeah.
and are you gonna have kids who step in and are able to score those points? Because you're not getting anything from any of these other teams in Region 4. Yeah, I mean, you gotta get kids who know your job, right?
Yep.
And if they're 175 pounds and they've got a stud from South Dade or Southridge or Columbus or some other place sitting there, or one of the Bonnies from Palmetto, because Palmetto's not going to be a pushover either. You got to know your job, and your job might be, especially in a duel, not getting pinned or not giving up bonus points. Southwest is going to get their points.
Yeah.
The question is, who are the others that are going to help them get over that hump?
And your job might also be winning the blood round in regions and
That's
get the
right.
state and give us a chance to score. Guys to watch on that. Alejandro Ravello at 106 is going to get the job this year there. He had some good moments last year. Anthony Romero at 215. He was the backup at Southridge to a guy who's now ranked number 1. He can come in there, and he's a very good wrestler and had some big moments last year in spot wrestling. Those are the kind of guys that will kind of drive, I think, the overall team finish of this, because if they're able to improve and do like what you said, score the points, get the region, don't get pinned, that'll be like a difference maker.
Yeah, in duels, not getting pinned would be huge. And I'll tell you what, winning the blood rounds, because I will tell you right now, there are kids who lose in the blood round in Region 4 who would be on the podium scoring points for their team
Yep.
in Kissimmee, but they never get the chance.
No, well, the numbers that you gave me a few months ago about the Southwest, the years they've been top 10, the years they've been top 3, the state and state duels and state individuals throughout, mixed tenure there. But based on where they're at, there's no question that somewhere else they would have made some serious noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they were in a different part of the state, or if we had a different setup for the duels, we would have a lot of finals.
Do you
Wow,
want to talk
that's a
about
whole
that?
other
Do you
that's a
wanna
That's a
whole
whole
other
other
podcast.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
No, we're not gonna
At
do
this
that
point,
now,
we're at
'cause we got
45
the top
minutes
2
in.
teams in 3A to talk
And
about.
we're about to shock some people with number 2.
Woo! Number 2. I can't even believe you did it.
Yes.
I can't even believe it. I mean,
You
I'm
got
just gonna be
some
honest with you.
cojones.
I mean, the only reason I say that is that they have completely owned
They have.
3A. South Dade at number 2. Man, I'll tell you what, if your name isn't up in their room, I'm just shocked.
Yes, they do. They put these big names up there. I think I'm gonna, tell them, hey, make sure you write Brant Parsons up on that wall.
That's
Put
right.
Cobble Wrestling. Let me get some good branding out of it.
Ah, bro.
Um,
So you've got South Dade number 2 with 1, 2, 3, 4 number ones and number 2, number 6, number 5. Go ahead, tell us.
right.
Yeah.
Let me give you my caveat on this. One, I have
Yes.
not heard. I've talked to Duck, but I don't have a form from him. I don't know if there are going to be different wrestlers in the room that I have information on. As of right now, if I did an IBT between these two teams, based on my formula, Southridge is like 40 points higher. Um,
Woo.
you have your champs coming back. You have your automatics like Giovanni, and you also have Guillermo Jaramillo, Armand Williams, Jonathan Moreno, all number ones. Caleb Williams, number 2 going into the year. Jamie Freeney, 215, number 5 going into the year. But this is as of right now. I may find out there's talent at all these weights. I know they've got young guys we don't know about if we don't. I don't
Mhm.
follow youth like maybe others are able to. They'll be better than this, but at least on the top part of this, they actually don't. They aren't as deep as Southridge right now.
Well, I think Southridge has 2 guys that, I mean,
Oh, they have more than 2 guys there.
they have 2 guys that are pretty much a lock. I mean, I don't, uh, and then the rest are.
So let's wait on Southridge. Let's talk
Oh,
Southridge
Yeah.
just a little
I
bit
So,
more.
think, I think the Duck era is beginning, right?
Yes.
As far as the head coach, I think he's bringing in his son and some other people that have come through the South Dade room
Yes.
to be there with him. I think
And Duck is one of the best coaches in Florida, like
yes,
technique
absolutely.
wise.
Absolutely.
I think that Duck and these guys have also heard that Southridge, it's Southridge's year, it's Southridge's time, South Dade is over, blah, 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 right?
First off, I've not said South Date is over.
Right. And
Coming in number 2 in a preseason ranking does not mean South Date is over.
right, but I mean,
Don't attribute that on the wall.
I think I think they've heard the people say that, right? And I think Duck is sitting there and he's got some motivation for those kids and he is licking his chops. And listen, Southridge is loaded. I mean, I've always said death, taxes, and Tovar. So far, those have not let me down because he does. Giovanni's a good kid and he does.
I mean, the thing to watch, and we've discussed this. We don't need to go into huge role. I mean, we've talked probably 2 or 3 times on this, but coaching staffs have roles.
Yeah.
And South Dade had very specific roles of what their coaching staff did, and it worked. And that there's going to be a transition there. And I'm not saying Duck can't take that head role and run with it, and I think he will. But there's going to be a transition here when you go from having a legendary head coach like Vic, you have a guy like Duck in the corner who could be quiet, who could let Vic do the talking and handle that part of it and just be in the room and like getting these guys ready. That changes because there are things that come. I know we're not like you're not like an NFL head coach where you have to talk to the media, but when you're a head coach in this sport, you do have to handle all the other stuff. And
Yeah,
it's
you
the
do.
paperwork and it's the talking to
Well, I don't.
FHSA and talking to people like me and
I'll tell you
handling.
this. I don't think that Vic walked out the door and never came back. I think we're going to see Vic at a lot of tournaments. I
Oh,
think.
I understand. But what I'm saying is there is going to be just a natural transition there, and it just so happens to come in a year where, at least from what I know now, there's not as deep a team coming back as we've had in the last couple of years at South Dade
Well, I think to echo,
compared to South Dade. I mean, I'm talking about number 2 and 3A. We're not like they're not bottom dwellers. They're not turning into Miami
no,
Marlins
no.
here.
Oh,
But
remember
they aren't.
Brant at BrantParsons.com.
Yes.
So I think to echo what you just said, and then to talk about one other thing before we move on to Southridge. Number one of the things that watching from another corner in years past and that sort of thing. One of the things that really good coaching staffs do is that when there's moments in a match and there's some questions about going on, and Vic would be the person who would be like, I don't understand, to the official, like I saw this, that sort of thing. As that's happening, Duck is giving just some
He's coaching.
great pieces of
He's
wisdom
coaching. Yeah.
to that wrestler who is in that critical situation, who is going to then hit this thing or
Yep.
do this thing. And a lot of people are paying attention to what's going on with the conversation between the coach and the official and are not paying as close attention to what's
And
actually happening.
that was a
between
finely oiled
that.
machine.
It was.
You
It
know,
was.
I was in
Worked very well.
I was in Fargo, and unfortunately, Jason wasn't there. Um, but I tell you, who did a great job was Brett Lee Rayna.
Yes.
The
Mhm.
adjustments that I saw him make on kids, the coaching that he did, and his dad letting him do it, the going up to the referees and questioning certain things. He did a wonderful job with these kids, and I think he is going to be very good there as he grows and learns into that position. But yeah, I was really impressed with Brett Lee in Fargo.
I agree. The last thing I was going to say before we move to Southridge, and that is, look, and you said it before, the cupboard's not bare for South Dade. Like they've
Yeah.
got studs. They might end up with more state champions than anybody else in 3A.
Yeah.
But more state champions doesn't necessarily equate to a team title. So that's something you have to keep in mind. I will also say that um, there's been questions in the past, hey, this team's coming up. This team's
And
coming up. They're
they
gonna
answer
knock
'em.
off South Dade. They're gonna beat them. They're gonna take care of the situation. They're gonna stop the streak. They're gonna do all these sorts of things. And guess what? It hasn't happened. Okay, so until Southridge or Southwest Miami or Columbus or somebody else puts it in and makes it happen, you know what? South Dade is right there.
Yep.
They are primed to take it again.
So
But
Jason,
yet,
is
I
South
still
Dade
did this.
is South Dade still number one on your list?
I think it's hard. I agree. I think I agree with Brant in that there's certainly a lot to say about Southridge, and he's going to go into this, and this is going to be the case why Southridge should be number one as we begin, or as we begin this season. I will be really interested to revisit this come, you know, the 2 weeks or 3 weeks into the season, and we've gotten to see where everybody is and
I'd
what
say
weights
through
they are.
knockout, we'll be able to have a good idea of how
Yeah,
wrong
and
I
then
am.
and then I think we'll have a much better, clearer idea. So I know I evaded the question, but that's the way it's going to be at the moment.
See, now you sound like Trump.
Well, listen, I think everybody has watched Miami Wrestling Club start to build their youth program, and I think we're starting to see all them come into these high school programs. A lot of them landing at Southridge, and now you're seeing it flourish. And a kid like Giovanni Tovar, who's already been a state champion, how many times? Once, twice,
Nice.
twice. You've got Ryan Moret, who's going to be a senior, right?
Maybe three.
And he's pretty locked in. And Soto is a stud, right? So with with Soto's drill partner going over to Southwest, hey, is that a kid that can shock Soto, or is Soto that far ahead of him? What do you see here, Brant, with Miami Southridge as number one?
Tovar, 2-time state champ.
2 time. Yeah.
Listen, Southridge, Tovar, there's one. Ryan Merritt, there's another. Tyree Graham, state champ for South Day last year, was enrolled in Southridge before last year ended. And I'll tell this story because it just
Years
to show
ago,
you,
I think it was
Albert
state
Pardo, the head coach of Southridge, told him, "Hey, you should go. You should wrestle for Duck." He did not want to take him, but he's there, so he will count for Southridge. He'll count the points there. Christian Soto.
Well, hang on. He wanted to take him. He just didn't want it to happen the way it kind of all played out, I'm sure, right?
I mean,
I'm not going to say
tell you,
no to a state champ coming.
You don't say no, but at the same time, he's building this. They've been building this on their own at Southridge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is Miami Wrestling Club. This is going to be so special. Come out of retirement and come coach here for a few years. Kind of good. And I believe, I mean, listen, you don't turn down a state champ coming in, but at the same time, they really want to make this mark as Southridge Wrestling. They don't want anything to be, oh, well, you only won because this.
Mm-hmm.
This is something they are home growing. And as Dan pointed out, Miami Wrestling Club is that homegrown. I mean, this was something I talked to him 3 years ago. He goes, "This is going to be a special situation."
Meanwhile,
He knew that coming in.
Tyree Graham could be the difference between
He
South Dade.
could.
He could be.
I like to point that out because I know narratives that get started, and at least on this one, and I talked to I'm going to talk to him again today. I talk to him quite often on things. I believe it's genuine that he wants this. He'll take him, he'll coach him, and he said, "I'll coach him. We'll want to win with him." But his initial reaction was, "You should be wrestling."
Yeah. I didn't mean. I mean, I'm just,
No, I know.
Well, no,
But
and
those
I
are three
think,
state champions in your room. You have Christian Soto in your
and to
room.
be honest, in Tyree Graham's defense, Tyree Graham's a football player, even though he's had
Yes,
very high success in wrestling. He is a football player, and
and
the
Southridge is
Southbridge football program is one of is a program that is coming back to prominence. They have somebody that is bringing college coaches in all the time so that these kids can get opportunities to be recruited.
yep.
Tyree saw that, so it was a chance to say, okay, I get to do that, and they also have a pretty damn good wrestling team. So
Yep.
with the best of both.
well, and Florida's the Wild Wild West. Doesn't mean that you can't play football in one school and go to
Doesn't mean you
wrestle
won't go
somewhere
back.
else.
Yeah, we
But
haven't
anyway,
seen that
I don't want to.
before,
I don't want
right?
to like single out Tyree
We haven't seen that
and
before.
make the
No,
whole
Absolutely.
podcast about a high
right,
school
right. But
kid.
in Tyree's defense, I know football
Yes,
is his passion, and that's where I think a lot of his heart is. And they have a program there that could really help catapult him into some of his
on the
dreams.
football
Well,
side.
and really, honestly, I mean, like we were getting to, like Southridge isn't just those kids, man. I mean,
Right.
you've got LaGuardia, who is a great little 6 pounder.
Yeah.
You got Garcia, you got Chang, you got Rojas. I mean, you've got studs
Daniel
up and down this
Sanchez,
lineup.
yeah, Sanchez sitting there at 8. That's
And
it.
Erickson Coney has moved there, state placer last year at 138 and 2A. Not a lot of holes in this lineup.
That's right. I
Mhm.
forgot about Coney moving there.
Not a lot of places where they don't have point scores. Maybe that middle set, you're looking like 150 to 65. Those three weight classes may have a little bit of a hole, but this is a solid lineup. And the thing is, obviously, and we talk, you can talk about this with anything, and it was the unique thing that South Dade had is when you went to the state tournament, a South Dade kid that you didn't predict always won a state title.
Yes.
Guys always wrestled up at that point. That's what's going to come down to is Southridge started to make that leap last year. Now, and then it's the first question I'm going to ask Albert today when I talk to him is, what do you do when now you're the chasee, the chasee? It's one thing to chase. It's another thing to have people like me saying, "Hey, you're the best team," and now you guys are like, "Whoa."
Let's be
How do you keep
honest.
them from
We're looking
wrestling, not timid, but wrestling almost scared or too conservative because you don't want to be the one that messes up. You're now the focus is on you, and that'll be fun to see how that is handled and how they
I
wrestle.
think in your top 5 here, it's crazy because Haggerty is really good at 5, and they've got kids at 5 that are going to cause some shape.
They're going to cause some problems in state. Yes.
But these next 4 teams, if we come back here in February, in the middle of February, and you now have Columbus here and Southwest here and South Day here and Miami South, I don't know if I would be surprised. I mean, all 4 of these teams are absolutely loaded.
I mean, we could
Yeah.
come back here in February and be like, "Hey, congrats, Southwest Miami, on your first state duels title." I mean,
That's
there's
right.
so much that could still happen in this. And that's what makes it exciting, right? That's why this is the reason right here why I decided to come up with this idea. Because I wanted to know who I thought was number 1 in 3A. It was in my head for like 2 months. I'm like, who am I going to pick for number 1 in 3A? Because I didn't know. And I just finally said, you know what? Break it down. And then like, well, what would be a fun way to break it down? Oh, let's do a top 5. Now I have an excuse to break it down. We have an excuse to talk about it. But that is those
they
3
have an
teams are
excuse.
why that's why this even came about, because I wanted to see what 3A 16 was going to look like.
And now
Yeah.
coaches and kids have an excuse to yell at you.
Yes, Ward at wardwrestling.com.
There's
Email any complaints.
they don't ever have to have an excuse. It's
But
always
our
just
coaches- But listen, we went over 2A and 3A. The same thing. I mean, 2A's top 3 are probably similar to 3A's top 4, and then 1A's top 3, I think it was. I think that the top is the top here and could shake out any different which way, and I don't think it would surprise us. But yeah, 3A once again is absolutely ready to
It's gonna be fun. We haven't had a lot of excitement in three. I would say in the past 10 years, you have Palmetto Ridge winning state dual
Hmm.
title, and then you have um, the consolation charge by South Dade the one year where they spent, excuse me, Saturday just winning all on the back end.
yeah,
Yeah.
Those
Southwest
are the two
Miami
that stick
came
out
into
to me
that.
for 3A excitement.
That was the year that Southwest Miami came into the final day up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
So
and
I
South Dade had a they're probably their worst semifinal round, and they had points written on a napkin to what they needed to do on that day and what they could accomplish, and then went out and did it.
So, historical context for everyone, if you don't really follow it necessarily as closely as the rest of us do, um, this coming season, in my opinion, will be the most uncertain in terms of who is going to finish on top out of all in all the classes of any time that I can remember. I mean,
Yeah.
back a long time ago, you had like Highland Prep, you had Brandon, you had South Dade for their runs. You always had a class where you're like, I know who was going to be the champion in that class. I mean, it was going to be, unless something like completely happened and everything fell apart, you pretty much could guarantee it. As you look at all four of these different classes, right? I mean, in the girls, it's going to come down to a couple of teams, in 2A, we've got this mix, in 3A, we've just been talking about it. Mater Lakes, it's probably the biggest favorite in 1A, but you know what? That's not a given, man. And
I
there are
was going to say
teams
that's
there.
probably the one team that right now is you're like they look like they're pretty.
Yeah, if you were putting money down, that would be the team. But I mean, you've got Zephyr Hills Christian, you got Cocoa Beach, you got other teams in the mix there in 1A that can also do the same sort of thing. So as a fan, this is your opportunity because this is the one where you're going to be able to watch it play out for an entire season, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see how it plays out.
Yep. I'm excited. And also, folks, I'm working around the clock. Get excited for my season preview that'll come out on November 10th, where we will look at all of these teams and every other single wrestling team in Florida. Nobody
All
else does it.
dropped on the same day.
All drops the same day. What is it? 64 districts?
So as I write stuff, I can't keep it. Like I write it and I'm like, I gotta share it.
Yeah, you gotta want to get this out right now. I mean, I've held on to these top five things for a month.
I can't do it, man. I'd be sharing and be like, yeah, we'll talk about it later. I just gotta share it. So
But yeah, November 10th.
There's been two knockout articles already.
yeah,
oh man, that knockout yesterday was so good. I need to like save that somewhere and be able to look back at that and reference it. That got me excited too.
19 states, man. 19 states have been at the knockout.
And you said the great state of Ohio. So
the great state of Ohio.
I don't see why.
I did that for you, Brant.
If I'm a team that has kids that are good, are really good, or can be good and need to get work against the best, unless I know there are schools out there that have tournaments the same weekend as the knockout just out of default because that's just the way the schedule.
Well, it's changed because of the car show and everything post Christmas. By having the knockout the third weekend, there are going to be other tournaments just because
that's the way it works.
Just people have to host things for the teams not going there, so it doesn't have the same stage that it may have had when it was the week after Christmas, when you'd had everybody else was off, and you would have coaches from other teams just come out and watch it. So it does compete with other ones, but as far as level, it's still on that same high level of teams
in between tournaments. I don't know, unless it's your own tournament. Obviously, if it's your own tournament, you put your kids in your own tournament. But if
we have to be invited too, like you could.
Yeah.
There's some teams that would love to come to knockout and go 0-2.
Well, and I'll tell you right now, besides I think one open spot for a national level team, it is full. And I will tell you that as I look at the list of states that are coming, the
I'd like
list
to
of
see a
teams that are
list.
coming,
I
it
gotta write them.
is superb.
Right, so these other tournaments now are getting the teams, the girls and boys teams that are like, well, we couldn't get in, it's fully loaded, so we'll come here now.
Yeah, I mean, look,
There's some good tournaments that weekend. I feel bad
absolutely.
Great
because I
tournaments that
missed some of the
weekend.
tournaments that I
There's
like to
some
go
great
to.
tournaments that weekend. I mean, I heard there's uh, some tournaments all over the place that are going to be good. So,
Oh no, there will be some. There will be some great. There will be some great. I mean, it's like everywhere. Like there's going to be some great tournaments all over the place.
uh,
But
they're going to be
you want the. You want the.
knockout
The
great.
no, no. But that's. I mean, look. There's not knockout great anywhere else in the Southeast. I mean, the Southern Slam up in South Carolina in early December. The Macaulay tournament up in Tennessee the weekend before the knockout. These are fantastic tournaments, but
I mean, you have
there's
in
nothing
Florida,
that
even
really is
Beast
like,
of the Beach at Fort Walton Beach has been going against the same weekend as not going against, but same weekend as knockout for so long. That's that weekend.
yeah,
Gillis Strong is that weekend, and South Florida, the Key
yeah.
West Invitational is that weekend. I mean, there's some good still
That's
things going
invitation.
on.
Great. That's a great
Um,
tournament. I never got down there, but that's a really good tournament.
For Key
which one?
West.
Yeah. So I
I
guess
want to go
That's
down
a
just so I can sleep in the gym with
that's a
everybody else.
long way to go, man.
my problem is I didn't realize because of the early dates how many great tournaments are that weekend now. Because it used to be later, so you'd get some just weekend tournaments, but wow, there are some really good ones.
Yeah,
I will tell you, as someone who knows that his life's going to be disrupted for 4 months, every week is just full of tournaments now.
Well, I
And
don't know if
the
you saw,
girls is a full on sport at this point too, which it's like two full time seasons going on at the same time. It's awesome, but it's
I put out a 10 tournament schedule.
yeah,
I will be at 10 tournaments. In between those 10 tournaments, right now, I've got 42 media days lined up. So
nice.
media day lined up, those 10 tournaments that I'll
You
be
need to send me the if you don't mind sending me the list, and then I can be like, hey, tell them to send
ask
me.
so and so a question.
Tell them to send me
yeah,
their
yes.
shit.
And then also there's some tournaments that aren't on there, right? Like I may end up, I'll probably end up at the state duels. I'll probably end up at, the state tournament, obviously, right? Or maybe I'll be at some districts or some regions. It depends on if I'm not like fully combat, like I can still walk and move and everything's working and the right thing. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming and the season's almost here, man.
Yep.
No doubt. Well, guys, you know what? We actually haven't talked about what we're going to do next week. We'll do that offline. But you know what?
Yes.
Enjoy the last 2 weeks of the top five. And I have some ideas of some things that we're going to talk about
Uh-oh.
moving forward.
When
Because,
he gets ideas, we do get in trouble. We do get 8-0 off some of those.
but you know what? It's great. You know what? Drop a comment. Subscribe to the show. We appreciate it. We love it. Love talking
Yep.
about it and everything else. And you know what? You
Remember,
disagree?
no favorites
That's
here.
good.
We don't cheer for any of our picks.
Well, Dan kind of. I
He
mean,
might.
Dan.
He
I
probably
mean,
has some favorites.
Dan has some favorites, I think.
No favorites in my picks, though.
Not me.
Yeah, he's wearing a Miami hat. Like, what is this all about?
You, baby, to you.
And on that note, guys, have a
Yes.
great week. See you.